Alright guys, as the title says, we're doing some blow-off valves on the Kia Stinger by Agency Power. What the video doesn't announce is that they are a partial sponsorship for this video. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a link down to their store below. Be sure to check them out for all your automotive needs. Let's get into it and see what that kit comes with. So when you buy the Agency Power kit, you do get two blow-off valves. You get the suction lines you need. You get the barbed fittings that you need. You've got zip ties, clamps, caps, the bolts needed to bolt them back on, T-fitting for the suction line, and clamps. Per Agency Power's instructions, it does say to prime the blow-off valves before installation. So what we're going to do is we're going to unscrew the cap and remove the spring. This does involve removing the cap all of the way. Pop the spring out, and inside you'll see the brass plunger. Now what we're going to do is from the base side, we're going to push up very gently. This one's not going as easily as the other one did. There we go. Now what that did is, you can see, it does get a little bit closer. Now just kind of wiggle that back and forth a little bit. This primes the blow-off valve per Agency Power's instructions. This ensures that the product is going to operate properly before the installation as well. And then install the cap. So here we are to the front of the car. The first step in the front by the factory blow-off valves is to loosen these two clamps by the T-fitting. So we're going to go ahead and do that with a pair of needle nose pliers. And it might be more difficult than we think trying to get a good angle, but we should be able to do just that by rotating it a little bit at a time. And then, like so. Sure, do it one-handed, they say. There we go. So now I'm going to repeat on this and we'll touch base in a second. So now that we've loosened the T-fitting clamps here, what we're going to do is go down to these two side clamps and do the same thing. My camera wants to focus, so we got one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side, so we're just going to move those out of the way, there and there. After moving this clamp here, we also have to focus on one down here on the driver's side, and then one down there on the passenger side. So we'll go ahead and get to those right now. With the air hose removed from the blow-off valve down to the intake, we're going to put the supplied cap over the intake and a clamp over that. The supplied clamp for the cap is in fact an 8mm, and I've got it aligned so that my little nut there, my fitting, is towards the front of the car, so it'll be easy access with a ratchet down there. So with the passenger side cap rather than a ratchet and a socket, I did find it easier to use a crescent wrench that has a ratcheting mechanism in it, and then just going down into it there, right there. So at this point, we're moving on to removing the 8 bolts that hold the factory blow-off valves on, and these are 10mm, so I've got that, and I'm using an extension that's going to give us ease of access for the ratchet up here. So I did skip a step earlier, which you have to remove that hose from that T. So I did have to use a pair of needle nose to loosen that off the barb here, but it did come off. When taking these out, be careful because you will have to reuse the gaskets that are on the underside. So using my smallest flathead screwdriver, what I'm going to do is slowly pry these gaskets out. And the reason we're doing that is because the mounting on the Agency Power is going to reuse that same gasket in their slots. With our old gaskets out and put into the new blow-off valves, keep in mind that when installing them, you're going to want these horns facing the driver's side and passenger side so that they don't hit each other in the middle. Now, what we've got going on here is a different tool is going to be required to install the new mounting bolts, as Agency Power did provide different ones to use. So let's go ahead and get to mounting. Torque specs were not provided by Agency Power on these, which is not a big deal. I'm going to do hand tight, just kind of monitor them. I did end up using a 3/16. There we go. That fit in there loosely, but it's enough to tighten it, and as you can see, it doesn't move. Like I said, I'm going to monitor it because there was no torque specs. Didn't say anything about Loctite or anything like that. So I don't think that those are going to go anywhere, but just watch them. So at this point, what we've done is taken one piece of the hose that Agency Performance has provided. We've connected the T-fitting that Agency Performance has provided into the stock hose off here. What we're going to do is cut this down to size, connect that down there, and then run another hose from the T-fitting onto the next blow-off valve, and the install's done. Now that everything's connected properly, it gets down to adjusting the blow-off valves themselves. When starting the vehicle for the first time, what you want to do is there's an O-ring in here that you should have seen when you primed the valve. Basically adjust this all the way to the soft, so counterclockwise, until it's just covering the base of the O-ring. So you do not want to be able to see the O-ring down there. The valve should remain closed under throttle and then open momentarily when releasing the throttle. So we're going to go ahead and go for a quick test drive and see how these do. So this is with the valve set at the softest that they can be. So I think that with a harder pressure, it should be a little bit more severe, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly adjust those down this little side road, and we'll be back with you. So at this point, I've adjusted the valves to about the medium hardness or softness. And as you can see right now, I'm accelerating normal and it's fine. Still very brief. I would like to have more of a drawn out, so I'm going to adjust it one more time just to kind of see if we can get kind of a slow, there we go, a little bit more like that. So we're going to go down one more side street, give them one more final adjustment, and I think that we should be good. So we're not quite to the hardest setting, but it is pretty far down there. And so again, what we're going to do is just kind of test through normal shifts. We're good. Still very brief and very hard. I think that might be the Agency Power blow-off valve. There we go. So apparently it might just be more how much boost you have built, and then it just gives that nice little whistle if you're in the 3,000 RPMs. But if you're up in the 5,000, 4,000, it's very harsh and very quick. All in all, the install took me about an hour and 10 minutes, so the install was nice and easy, as you guys saw. The Agency Power blow-off valve sounds a lot better than obviously what the stock ones did. I think that we may have lost a little bit of power just due to the engineering of the initial, Kia engineering, but at the end of the day, you don't really utilize all that power all the time, so you're not using that recirculated. This is a atmospheric vent blow-off valve, so it's just going right out. It's not being recirculated, so that power is not being utilized. But at the end of the day, it's not anything that I'm gonna lose sleep over. So all in all, I really do like the ease of the install. The product looks great. The fit and finish is great. So again, I'm not just saying this because they are a partial sponsor. I think that if you're in the market for a blow-off valve, I think that you'll find that the Agency Power blow-off valves will definitely meet your needs. So like I said, their links down in the description below. And then, you know, don't forget to subscribe and like. And then also in the comments, you know, if you do order something from them, just tell them that I sent you. I don't know that they'll give you a discount. That's not how the sponsorship was quite set up, but you know, it definitely would be helpful for them to kind of keep track of who is going their way due to my videos. So, you know, guys, stay tuned. We'll keep more content going towards you. And I appreciate the thumbs up and the subscriptions. We'll see you guys later.